What's good, guys? Welcome to the Yappers podcast. My name's Seb.
My name's Mia.
And yeah, welcome to the inaugural episode of our new podcast. It's just going to be two friends talking about life and movies and pop culture and anything that pops into our minds, I guess.
Yeah.
Like, that's an intro. All right, cool. Back to what we were talking about.
It's the Yappers.
Oh yeah. Are we allowed to curse on this, or are you gonna bleep them?
I'm going to bleep not everything, but like, yeah, you can curse.
That's okay. I just wondered.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm probably going to curse.
It would make your job easier if I didn't curse, probably. But
Probably, but I know that I'm gonna, accidentally curse at some point anyway.
yeah, I
so-
probably will do accidentally.
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna try.
I've been media trained. I can hold
there
back
we
the curse
go.
words.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I'm definitely gonna try for sure. But
Another
see.
just comes out.
we'll see. First word in. Fuck you all. What's good, everybody?
Shit. Yeah, literally. Is
Right.
that the ice cream man?
Yeah, we're gonna wait for the ice cream man to leave.
Do you want an ice cream?
Nah, I think good.
Okay.
We did run down once too, if I remember.
Mr. Whippies are like £3 now.
Yeah, they're fucking spenny as shit.
ridiculous.
Genuinely, they're so fucking spenny.
I think I was in Central. So this is my fault, but I asked the ice cream for £5 from Mr. Whippy
Ah!
with a flake, but like £5.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely
crazy.
not. I remember when Freddos were 5p.
Never really got into Freddo's, TBH.
See, I just used Freddos as actually no, I remember when they were 2p. But I kind of use them as like a litmus test of,
litmus
inflation.
Oh yeah, no.
If I go in and
Yeah,
see
no, 100,
if I go
100.
in and I see a Freddos
Yeah,
50p,
that's fair.
I
That's
know
fair.
that we've gone to shit.
How much are they now?
I think they're like 35p.
Jesus.
I know it's really expensive.
Nah, that's
now.
crazy. That's actually
Yeah,
crazy.
because when I was younger, we would go into like every Friday. I think after school, we'd go into the sweet shop, and my parents would give us £1.
And you
And
come
we-
out with like
we
a
have to make the most of
fucking
it. Like that was the limit. Like
Yeah.
£1,
yeah,
take it or leave it.
yeah.
And then it became like a whole like scandal when like one of my friends got £2 one day.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Literally, that's literally how we felt.
To be fair, like I remember, obviously, like in Hong Kong, it's way different, right? Because like in Hong Kong, everything's fucking 10 million times cheaper and shit. But I remember like £3, or I'd say like £3. I'd have like a bowl of noodles, a drink, and it'd be like lit. It won't be
That's
like
amazing.
it won't be like a cup noodle. It'll be like a fucking actual bowl of noodles with like beef brisket and like some veg and shit. £3 with
I'm
like a
really
drink.
into ramen at the moment.
Fair. What's your favorite type of ramen?
Well, I went to Bone Daddy's yesterday.
Okay.
That was pretty good. It's not like real ramen though, but like I was just like I just want like I like the noodles that they use because they're not like they do them quite al dente.
Okay.
I guess. It's too
I might keep this in. To be fair, I think this is a pretty candid, nice convo we had. Yeah, we did. We have officially started, but not like we haven't done the intro or some shit. But that was a good. That was a good. Convo.
yeah, we've just been complaining about
Food
cooking.
and cooking. Yeah, and Mr. Whippy. In Hong Kong, it's called Mr. Softy. I actually
Somehow that sounds worse.
I knew the.
I think the insinuation.
I went to school with Mr. Softy's kid. His name was Daniel. He was really nice.
Actually, I don't know this for sure. I think I'm friends with the girl whose family owns Milkshire.
Oh shit! Wait,
Yeah.
what?
The Milkshire, the bubble tea place. I really love Milkshire.
Fair.
Actually,
Controversial.
Really?
I'm not a big fan of bubble tea. I think it's
so
pretty gross.
I say that I like bubble tea, but actually, what I'm drinking is just iced tea.
Okay, fair. I like iced tea.
Like I don't get it with like tapioca pearls in or toppings.
Yeah, you're just getting iced tea
I'm
then.
just getting plain
fair.
tea.
Fair.
But I do like a good old like Taiwanese or Hong Kong milk tea.
That's too sweet for me.
But you
It's
can
way
adjust
too
the
sweet.
sweetness
I
levels.
mean, yeah, obviously. Okay, well, firstly, right, y'all are having like here at least. I feel like most of these bubble tea places are so freaking like westernized and
That's
shit.
very
There's so many
true.
like extra things you could add. I remember in Hong Kong, it was always like bubble tea was just one flavor, and it was just like the milk.
I do
like,
think less is more.
you know, like just the classic. But then in those cases, you can't control how much sweetness it. Like you can say, "Oh, team," which is like little sugar, but then they'll look at you, and be like, "What a pussy!" I'm like, "Oh,
That was me when I went to the tapas house and I got, you know, the crepes, like the egg crepes.
Oh, fuck
and
yeah.
I had to say like, no mala. And she was like,
Nah, whenever you have to add like an extra like, oh yeah, can you make it like less something? You always get the death
because you can choose like the fillings, right? And when I was like, oh, I can't do spice. I was like, oh, no mala. She was like,
look at this
she was like, you can't have, she like, I would say, can I have this? She went, no. Can I have this? No. I was like, okay, well, whatever doesn't have mala, just give it to me. And she's like, okay. And it was still a good crepe, but I did miss out on a lot of fillings.
Wait, so you're originally Chinese, right? Or Hong Kong?
Well, I'm from Guangdong.
So yeah, fair.
Yeah, so like,
but you can't handle spice.
Yeah, I know, it's really embarrassing. Well, I like spice, but I like spice that I can taste.
Do you know what? I actually agree with that.
I don't want a meal that's gonna hurt me.
I don't like when things are spicy for the sake of being spicy. Yeah. Like it has to be. Yeah.
I also don't like what I call dry spice, which is very much like the horseradishy, like mustardy stuff.
Okay, yeah,
like
fair.
It's like a kick in the back of the throat, and I don't find any enjoyment out of it. I don't.
So like, what about like wasabi and sushi and shit?
I think a little bit of wasabi is good. But only like a little bit. Like
fair.
A little bit. But also, wasabi over here isn't like real wasabi.
Yeah. It's just
so
like
I feel like I haven't had like an authentic experience.
Fair.
Because over here, I feel like it is just glorified horseradish.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which I really don't like anyway. So
fair.
I don't think I've had a good starting
What about
position.
like dam mean, like dan noodles and shit?
Oh, I can't do
Can
that.
you handle?
No, my boyfriend tried
Little
to make.
pussy.
No, yeah, my boyfriend tried to make us like dan noodles, and I was like, this is a bit spicy.
What about like a curry? Okay, what about like Indian curry? Like, what's your level? Like, is it like a?
I get a korma.
I was fully gonna say like, is there like a korma or is it like a madras? Okay, fair.
I think I get a korma, but like when I get Japanese curry, I get like
but Japanese curry is like sweet. Yeah. Japanese curry is meant to be like mild.
I'm trying to think what
Love
spice
Japanese
do I
curry,
like.
Though.
I do like gochujang. And,
okay.
Korean spice.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Like
That's fair.
I
That's
like
fair. That's fair.
Spice that tastes nice.
Yeah,
I
feel you.
Spice that makes me upset.
Yeah. Fair. That's fair. So like kimchi and stuff.
Yeah.
Is like doable.
But also as well, like I have quite a strong stomach. Okay. Regardless, like in the times that I have had painful spice, I've actually been fine. Okay, that's good. That's good. So I feel like maybe genetically I am built for it, but just like mentally, I'm not there yet.
Fair. Maybe you need like aversion therapy or like what's the therapy where you do it where like exposure therapy, yeah, you need exposure therapy up in that shit. Inject some spices into you. Like
oh my god. I have had something once so spicy that I threw up though.
And what was that?
That was one time, and in my defense, this was when I was I think I was like 17, and at sixth form, this person bought like what they thought was like the most dangerous spice in the world. Like they bought like a hot sauce version of it and brought it to school. Oh, you mean the like ghost peppers and shit? And right, they were like giving it to everyone to try as like a prank. Yeah, fair. And I had like the tiniest like dab on my little finger. Oh, it was awful. And you threw up. It was so awful. That's like, crazy. I feel like you know what they say like scientifically with pain, you can't remember it because it was so bad. Yeah. That is how I feel about this. Damn. Like I think I like slightly like puked a little bit and then I had to get a McFlurry to just like fair. To just heal. So if you ever got invited onto Hot Ones, like I would do it. I would if korma's like your level, you're dead after like the third wing. It would be very funny. Yeah, touche actually. It would make for good content. It would be very funny and I'm willing to try anything. Fair. Even if it does make me suffer. Should we do like a B-Tech like Hot Ones one of these episodes and just be like, yeah, fuck it. Here we go and just see how I will cry. Yeah, we could just order it from like Hot Ones and get like the actual like I've always wanted it. Yeah, I've always wanted to try it to be fair. I would love to try it, to be honest. Like, imagine, like, because, like, in my mind, like, the final level, like, the bomb would be, like I would probably poo myself kind of vibes. Like, it'd be that, like, spicy. I would definitely cry. Oh, yeah, 100%. Nah, I'd be crying at, like, Wing 5 probably. I'd be like, please. Oh, actually, I did. So I went to Hongdae Pocha. Okay. I had the chicken feet.
Love chicken feet.
They
Love that shit.
they were so spicy though.
Okay.
I had a little sheen of sweat. I was like,
Nah, that's when you know it's when there's like that glistening like.
yeah, I could like feel like on the back of my neck, just like the cold sweat forming.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I thought that I was being a pussy about it, but my friend who's like very Korean was like, "Whew," and I was like,
Okay,
I'm not
fair,
the only one. I'm not the
fair.
only one. It's not just me.
Fair. Nah, I'm definitely intrigued by like how far I would go in like the spicy test because I think I'm pretty good, but I agree in that sense where I like spicy when it's tasty.
I like a mango habanero.
Never had it.
It's like it's very sweet, spicy.
Okay, fair.
You can get it at Wingstop.
Okay, fair. I mean, yeah, I feel like for me, I think I can handle the spice, but I would never voluntarily be like, I want to go for like something like, you know, those like the extremely spicy Korean ramens and shit. Like
That's
I love
what my
a
friend does. She's Spanish.
Yo, your
though.
taste palates are like their taste palates are gone. You know, like for me, like I want something that tastes good, but like gives me a little bit of like like a little something.
I know exactly what you mean.
You know
I
what
had
I'm
that the
saying?
other day with my ramen. It was like it had a little kick to it, and I could feel it, but I wasn't like.
Yeah, like for me, that's when I'm kind of like, okay, this is just hot for the sake of being hot.
Yes.
You know, like I
I
don't.
feel like it's similar. It's the equivalent of like shock factor in a film.
Exactly. Like, okay, that was a perfect segue. Actually, I feel like so many modern movies nowadays rely on like shocking, like that shock factor without actually properly like preluding it or foreshadowing it, and it's just like it just serves no narrative purpose. Like Game of Thrones.
What you mean.
You know, like season 1 to 4 Game of Thrones, the shock factor was perfect. I don't know if you watched. Did you watch Game of Thrones?
I didn't watch Game of Thrones.
You're missing out.
I've seen clips, so like I've been spoiled already.
Fair.
But I never actually bothered watching it.
Fair. I mean, I can kind of see why, like, to be fair, but like, but basically, yeah, first half of the season of the show, like the shocks and the twists and shit were like so like cleverly done.
Yeah.
Where on rewatches and stuff, I'm like, okay, no shit that happened.
Yeah.
It was like very cleverly, subtly like foreshadowed.
Yeah.
But then the later seasons, you'll get things happening for the sake of shocking you.
I think when shows want to expand their audience base, they often do forget that they don't need to handhold people through it. And the people that do need to be handheld through it will be held by other people in the fandoms. To be honest.
100. So what? Okay, so for like, do you have an example of like a show that just had like that would just like shocking people for the sake of shocking people, or just like treated
Euphoria.
their audience? Ooh, interesting.
I very much so the first season I think was actually quite good. The second season, it just felt very gratuitous.
Hard fucking agree. Season 1, I enjoyed a lot. Actually, I thought visually was amazing. Story was pretty good.
It was a little bit navel gazy, but it was the kind of project that would be like that. So I wasn't gonna be like, oh.
It felt like Skins, but like modern day.
Yeah.
You know, with like a little bit of extra HBO flair. But full hard agree.
The second season was just very intense in all the wrong ways.
It was like they dialed up the HBO factor to like 11 for the sake of it. I agree.
I think it is just also very odd how much nudity that they decided to express, despite the fact this is supposed to be like a high school show. And don't get me wrong, like a bunch of high school teens, they have sex, they do drugs, they do bad things. But I don't think you needed to show
100%.
how much sex they were having.
100%. And like season 2 was genuinely like so much nudity and and violence as well.
And also a lot of the nudity that took place was like literally fantasy nudity. It was literally Nate's, fantasies of Cassie, which was just a bit like, so this isn't genuinely driving the plot in any way.
Yeah.
We are literally just watching this dude
think that's
have
the
like
main
a
thing.
fantasy wank off in his head.
That is fully the main thing, is like it didn't serve any purpose. It didn't serve any narrative. It was just there.
even like there's the whole argument, oh, Gen Z is so prude these days, like unless nudity serves a purpose, they don't care. And I'm like, I don't think it needs to drive the plot. Like the whole point of nudity and intimacy in scenes is to show a connection. It's to show the relationship between characters. And for some that might seem gratuitous, but sometimes a little kiss, a little sex scene here and there. It's very obvious that you're building a relationship between these characters. But if you're doing sex scenes purely to be like, hey, look at how big her tits are, I don't think that's very useful.
Not fair. No, I fully agree. I mean, it's just like such a shame because like I was like such a keen defender of like season 1. Like I really enjoyed season 1, even though it did have its flaws and shit. I was kind of like, yo, this show's sick. Like visually, I really loved it.
Yeah, but the thing is, the visuals as well. That's the whole controversy now with the visuals. That Sam Levinson supposedly actually plagiarized it from Petra Collins.
Petra Collins, yeah, I've heard this. Yeah. It's just like suddenly everything's kind of like unraveling now, and I'm kind of like season 2.
But it does make sense because if you realize that Petra had basically storyboarded and moodboarded the entirety of the first season and had been removed as a showrunner, it does explain the drop in quality and like the overall cohesiveness in the second season.
It's just such a shame because I feel like, you know, the actors were so amazing and like I was genuinely so invested in some of those characters like Rue and like Hunter Schafer's character. Like it was like,
oh my god, yeah, Hunter Schafer's special episode was one of the best ones.
Yeah, dude, the special episodes were sick. Like I loved both of their special episodes when it was just like 2 people talking, you know, in like a cafe or in the therapist. And then season 2 came out and it was just like so like over the top and like knowing that they're meant to be high schoolers and shit, and it just became like gangsters and fucking like the kid getting killed at the end and bada bing bada boom. It just like became like such a like what the fuck is going on kind of vibe for me, at least. It felt like, what is the show now? And now like season 3 apparently is being made. And I don't know, like I feel like a lot of the hype has died down and there's so much controversy around Sam Levinson.
Season 3 will be like a begrudging obligatory watch. Like like sunk cost fallacy. Like I watched the first 2 seasons.
Yeah, I kind of need to see how it happened. Yeah, how
I'm
it
gonna like give it a
ends.
chance. Kind of thing. I probably will not be watching it legally though.
Fair. Get that illegal stream on. I mean, there's also the other thing of like now shows nowadays have such a big gap in between seasons and shit.
I miss the 24 episode seasons with a filler and like a holiday episode.
I feel you. I feel holiday specials are lit.
I miss like my comfort show is literally Community. I've watched it.
Fucking love Community. I fucking love that show.
It's actually really bad now because like I just assume that everyone will know the references because I know the show so inside and out.
Yeah.
That like something will happen and I'd be like, oh my god, it's like Abba's Uncontrollable Christmas, and someone's like, what the fuck are you talking about? And
I feel like Community fans are like, and we're quite far in between, but when you find them, you're kind of like, hey, that's my guy.
You just know.
Fucking guy. Yeah, 100%.
I don't know what about the show it is. It just really itches my sense of humor.
Yeah, it's sick. I loved that show. Mind you, I think I kind of lost a bit of the interest after Childish Gambino left.
That was like a big drop off.
Yeah,
I think
100%.
And I think the show knew it as well, which I think I guess I can kind of respect them for because they knew that once they'd lost like a heavy hitter like Donald Glover, that they'd be very difficult to carry the show.
Yeah, for sure.
And they did it quite gracefully. Like at the time when
his send off was amazing.
When I first watched it, I was like initially very disappointed at the drop or decline, I guess, in quality and how the show changed. But on like several rewatches, they did it the best that they could.
No, fair.
I think they genuinely do the best that they could. Like
fair.
Emily Paget was like a really good addition to the cast, and obviously she was carrying a lot of dead weight at that point, I think.
Yeah. You know they're making a movie?
6
seasons in a movie. Yay! Let's go.
I will be seated. You know, have you seen the tweet that's like, I'm already seated and they're telling me the film's not even in production yet. It doesn't matter. I'm seated.
I'm already there.
That will be me.
100%.
I think that like, even if the film is somehow horrifically awful, I would still love it.
I mean, I have a feeling it probably will be, but same. I feel like I would probably enjoy it nonetheless.
I have such a deep-seated love for this series that I'm like, you know what? Like, they could do the most ridiculous stuff and I'd be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Community.
fuck yeah. I think they even said that they're planning the whole schedule around Donald Glover's like work and shit. I love that. I just love that everyone's coming back. It's gonna be sick. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
I watched The Bear recently, and
Okay.
seeing Joe McHale
Mm.
just suddenly appear in that was really like jarring.
We tried to watch The Bear, and we like.
It's very stressful.
I think we kind of gave up like halfway through season 1. And the thing is, like, it wasn't that it was bad or anything. I just don't think it gripped me enough to
I get
watch.
yeah, I know what you mean. I think season 1 was very much it's finding its feet.
Right.
But I think season 2 was incredible.
Interesting.
I think there's a whole episode actually which is very much a like who's who
Okay.
of like acting royalty.
Okay, that's cool.
It's called Seven Fishes,
Okay.
and it's been Emmy nominated for like so many reasons and so many people.
Fair.
It's very good. I
Fair.
would say trudge along with season 2 because it's worth it.
Okay. Okay. I mean, what would you say is like your top shows right now, at least going?
All my top shows at the moment are probably I'm watching Kimi ni Todoke, which is an anime. It's a very old school shoujo anime.
Okay.
And it's
When did it
amazing
come
because
out?
they had a season 1 and 2 that came out like maybe like 10, maybe even 10 to maybe 13 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I watched it like when I was like a teenager, like I
Okay.
was young and impressionable, and I was like, oh my god, romance, whatever.
Cute.
And it magically got renewed for a 3rd season for this year.
Sick.
Like after like a 12-year hiatus, they're getting a 3rd season.
Okay, cute.
So I'm rewatching the first 2 seasons so then I can watch the 3rd season.
Cute.
new.
Okay. All right. What's
That's what I'm currently watching, and House of the Dragon.
Say House of the Dragon? Oh my god. Wait, it's Monday. Holy shit, the finale. Oh, holy shit. I'm gonna watch it later. It's gonna be lit.
The thing that gets me is all the tweets that's like when I'm watching a show about the fall of House Targaryen and the death of dragons, and then the dragons start dying, and it's just like,
I mean, what are your thoughts on House of Dragon then?
I think it's great. I'm actually acquaintances with Emily Carey, so
Whoa,
it was
that's
really, It
sick.
was really cool seeing them do their thing.
Hell yeah, I can
Like,
imagine.
It was really odd because I actually watched House of the Dragon before I met them,
Okay.
and then I met them at a party.
Sick.
Absolutely lovely.
Sick.
And then since I've rewatched the show, it's been really interesting being like, oh my god, like I don't like,
Yeah.
yeah.
They
the
played young
dissonance.
Allison, right?
Yes.
Sick. Sick, sick, sick. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting that you haven't seen Game of Thrones. Like, I wonder.
Yeah, so I think the problem is that by the time that I was like, oh, I'll watch Game of Thrones, I was like, I'm not watching all 10 seasons,
Touche.
like 8 seasons of this.
Touche.
And then even worse as well is one of my friends was like a die-hard Game of Thrones like fans,
Mhm.
and I saw his live reaction to the finale.
To the finale,
And
yeah.
seeing his live
Yeah.
reaction just made me think maybe I shouldn't invest
Yeah,
myself in 8
do you know what? Like,
seasons
there is
for
a
that to
yeah,
happen.
there is a part of me that was kind of like, when I was watching House of the Dragon, at least, it was like, what's the point? Because like it
Yeah,
all
I know a lot of fans
ends,
have like resonated with that kind of
you
thing.
know, it all ends up like how it ends in Game of Thrones. But thankfully, because of the quality of Hot D, I've been able to kind of separate the two and just like,
Someone has theorized that the reason that they're going so hard with Dany as the prince that was promised is that they're going to reboot and redo, which I hope they don't. I think they should let sleeping dogs lie. Same thing with the whole, like, I think anything that's rebooted, there should be a very valid reason, and 9 out of 10 times there is not a valid reason. for
very true, very true.
I do think there's been a lot of discourse actually online about House of the Dragon
Uh-huh.
with concerns to Emma Darcy versus Millie Alcock's marketing. Have you seen it?
No.
So despite the fact that Emma Darcy is like the face
Yeah.
of the show, like they
Yeah.
are Rhaenyra,
Yeah.
they, you know,
They're sick, by the
they
way.
are in barely any of the marketing and merchandise, and they
Okay.
primarily use young Rhaenyra's
Interesting.
likeness for it.
Interesting.
Because of the fact that they're not included in a lot of the press junkets and, you know, a lot of the merch, some people are theorizing that it is like transphobic because obviously Emma
Right.
Darcy is not, you know,
Yeah.
overly
Non-binary.
femme presenting.
Yeah.
But then I do wonder if it's some behind the scenes stuff because as you and I both know, like there's a lot of stuff with usage
Uh-huh. Yeah.
because like I wonder if like don't have a license for like toys and stuff.
Maybe. Yeah. Interesting though. Like, was this mainly for season 1 or is it still like
Both
now?
seasons.
Oh,
So this is the
interesting.
thing. So they
That's interesting.
yeah, so they kind of
'cause-
noticed throughout season 1 that Emma wasn't being pushed for a lot of the press, and that they
Right.
were often absent from like
Right.
some press
I mean, I
junkets
guess-
where you would normally see them.
Yeah.
And then in season 2, I don't think it's been as bad, but then
Right.
since they've come out with a lot of merchandise,
Yeah.
they've been primarily using Millie Alcock as
That's
the
so
Rhaenyra,
because
for the-
Millie's barely even in
for all the
season 2.
Rhaenyra
That's
posters,
crazy.
all the Rhaenyra like dolls at the moment
That's
is
very
apparently modeled after
interesting.
Millie Alcock.
That's very interesting. I mean, it's a shame because like I genuinely feel that Emma Darcy might be like the coolest celebrity right now.
They are so cool.
They're sick. Like I think they
Yeah.
dress so cool. The way they like, obviously there was the whole what was it?
Oh my god, Negroni.
Negroni.
Yeah.
Spagliato.
Just
Prosecco.
so effortlessly
Like it was just like the way they speak was just like so fucking cool.
Have you seen the interview where they like where it's clearly they've come to the end of like a press junket and it's like the last interview of the day, and Olivia and Olivia and Emma are just like losing themselves because they just can't stop laughing. And at one point, one of the questions is like, "What do you have a passion for?" And Olivia just goes, "Fashion," and then they just like burst out laughing, and they're like, "Oh, what do you enjoy doing in your free time?" It's like, "Swimming," and they just lose.
Bless.
It's one of my favorite interviews.
It does feel like they're like, I mean, to be fair, the whole cast, I've been watching lots of like, you know, they're like videos on YouTube
Yeah.
and stuff, like the buzz feeds and them doing quizzes and most searched and whatnot. It does feel like they're like a cast that really get along with one another,
Yeah.
which is really nice. And I think it does come through on screen as well. But no, it is really interesting what you said about the whole
I've only
promotional thing.
noticed it. Like some people have like tried pointing it out on the timeline and stuff,
Yeah.
and there've been a couple of like, I don't know what the word is. I suppose like debates about it,
Yeah.
about whether or not, you know, Millie Alcock's popularity, I guess, and marketability like
Interesting.
somehow supersedes Emma's. But I personally just
interesting.
wonder if it's something to do with like
Maybe
usage.
Yeah, maybe like
because I know
yeah.
that, you know, like if they were planning to market dolls and merchandise and they, you know, put forth a price and Emma was like, oh, that's not high enough. But then
Maybe.
Millie maybe had a lower price
Yeah,
because she had
maybe.
less screen time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But
there
I just
might
thought
be
it
like
was
a
interesting because
yeah.
I don't really watch a lot of the sort of press and interviews personally. So I'd never noticed that was like a thing.
Like yeah, I can't lie, I've not really noticed that they've used more of Millie's kind of face, but I'm gonna look out for it now actually, now that you
Yeah,
mentioned
so this was
it,
the thing.
you
I
know?
hadn't noticed it either until I guess people started pointing it out, and then there's like threads showing like the
Yeah,
difference.
I need to
and, like,
really see this
disparity.
stuff. I really need to see because that's very interesting.
I think it's odd because they're both incredible at what they do.
Oh yeah, for sure, 100%. But it's just interesting because Millie's not even. I mean, she was in one scene in season 2 so far, but like, you know, Emma Darcy. I don't know. For me, Emma Darcy is fully just like that's what I think of when I think House of the Dragon.
Yeah,
right now,
her
with their face.
Vermithos scene is going viral.
Her what scene?
The scene with Vermithor.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
speaks
yeah,
like
yeah,
High
yeah,
Valyrian.
yeah,
People have
yeah,
been like
yeah.
recreating it with their cats.
Yeah. Nah. Honestly, like, yeah, so far, Hot D season 2. Yeah, it's been quite slow at some points. Like, I think the whole Damon and freaking.
Oh my god, people are being like him and his little Luigi's Mansion side quest.
Yeah, his little side quest at Harrenhal has been so long, but yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
maybe it's on purpose so that we as an audience can like empathize with him and be like, damn, he's been like in the doghouse for ages.
I don't know. I'm just like,
Damn.
I don't know. I mean, obviously now, you know, the finale's obviously already aired. We haven't seen it yet. I don't know. Have you seen it yet?
I haven't seen it
Okay,
yet.
cool. So obviously we don't know what happens in the season finale.
Have you
but
read the books?
No, I do. I did get a few spoilers, especially there is a very known Joffrey spoiler in like season 3 of Game of Thrones. Have you heard of it?
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna say anything in case y'all haven't heard it, but
It's been like 7 years since the
True,
finale aired. I
true.
think we can talk about it.
but then again, maybe like people haven't seen the original Game of Thrones, or they don't know it. But basically,
Maybe.
Joffrey like spoils how like Rhaenyra's like fate essentially.
But then some people have argued that because it's told from the Maester's point of view,
It could be wrong.
It
It
could
could
be
be
wrong, like, it's
exactly.
unreliable
That's what I'm
narrator.
freaking hoping for. 100%.
I mean, I would hope so.
because
honest.
that would suck.
I do
if it
think
ends
it's
like that.
interesting how differently Rhaenyra is portrayed in the show compared to the books.
I mean, I haven't read the book, so
There
I'm
is a
not
lot
entirely
more
sure.
emphasis on Rhaenyra's femininity
Okay.
and her female friendships
Okay.
and relationships with other women than there are in the show.
Okay. Interesting.
Which some people are very disappointed by. And I do
Interesting.
understand why, because it does feel like, oh, Rhaenyra's got like no female allies. It's like she's alone kind of thing. But then they changed a lot. Like, you know, like Alicent and Rhaenyra were not in the similar age at all.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
in the books, like Alicent is like a fully grown woman beefing with a 9-year-old.
I mean, it's like one of those things where like obviously they're gonna have to change like some things like between book
I
and
just
film.
hope that they change Rhaenyra's.
Yeah, same,
fate.
same. I think like there's certain things that I
But
feel.
they've already foreshadowed it in one of the episodes. Like they've actually foreshadowed every single death to come.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
According to book
right.
canon, anyway.
Right.
Whether
right.
they, deviate from that, it's like a little Easter egg
Yeah,
for those
fair,
who have
fair,
read
fair.
the books, maybe,
Yeah.
and they might just deviate and be like, "How you thought?"
Yeah.
But
I mean, I hope so. TBH.
I would hope so for one of two. I'm Team Black though, so of course I'm gonna think that.
Yeah. I don't think I know anyone who would be Team Green, if I'm completely honest.
I don't think I've met anyone.
You
that's
know,
Team
like
Green.
no
It's
one.
really funny. They do like the IGN polls, and like it's all just Team Black.
Yeah, I was wondering like if I'm sure there are people that are Team Green out there in the world. If that's you, please leave in the comments below and like freaking.
Be like, I'm Team Green.
Yeah, legit. I want to know. I want to know like why you'd be Team Green. I don't know.
do think it's interesting, however, how the show adaptation has really leaned into the relationship between Rhaenyra and Alicent and a lot of the girlhood that was lost there. I saw an edit recently that was really interesting.
Yeah.
That I can't remember it word for word. That Rhaenyra and Alicent have been wed in all of the traditional ways of Westeros and the other kingdoms. So, for example, one of them, I can't remember. It's like one of them is like placing the cloak on the maiden, and that's when Alicent dresses Rhaenyra.
Yeah. I think I remember
Another
that.
one is sharing a flame and blood, and they've shared flame and blood. Another one is being united under the old tree or something like that.
Okay.
And that's literally one of their first scenes together.
Yeah.
And
that's
some people are just
interesting.
joking that it was like a lesbian situationship that became everyone else's problem.
Yeah. I mean, I remember when I think it was like 2 episodes ago when Rhaenyra and Mysaria shared that kiss.
Oh yeah, that was a whole thing.
I remember like because I watched it in Italy with Ida's sister and her brother-in-law, and they were both like, "Yo, where that came out of nowhere." And
really?
I actually thought
I've seen it coming. For
Yeah,
ages.
I
That is
kinda
a
saw it
grade
happening.
A, like bisexual woman.
Yeah, I kind of saw that happening. Yeah, like coming a mile away, TBH.
I don't know. Maybe I watch too much like queer like films and stuff, so that I can see it immediately. I'm like,
I thought like for me at least, I genuinely always thought that Rhaenyra had a thing for Alicent, or they had a thing for each other. Like
I think there is a lot to be said about female friendships that like border on like homoerotic. Because there's that kind of. I think especially for them in the kind of environment they were in, that was a very aggressive, male dominated environment. They were going to find kinship in each other
companionship and
regardless.
stuff. Yeah,
and whether or not that crossed into romantic territory, it's like kind of thing they were too young to know whether it would be,
touche.
and also that kind of innocence of like, oh, this could be, but it never can be, so then they don't even think about it as a possibility. I know that I think Olivia Cook herself has actually said that she believes that Alicent is like closeted queer.
Fair. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But yeah, I mean, I'm very intrigued to see like where the season goes, where the story takes us and stuff. Like I think
I want more dragons.
I feel you, but like for me, like I'm more into like the political, like the intrigue and like the political drama. Like I love like
I want a Marjorie Tyrell type.
Right.
I want someone who knows how to play.
Oh yeah, right. Like Granny Tyrell was freaking sick as well.
The Tyrells, like they knew what they were doing.
Yeah,
like they pulled up and ran shit.
Facts. Like I want to see like a Tywin Lannister character. I want to see like everyone just playing, because like right now I'd say like Otto was a really good player of the game. but now he's gone. But I guess he might come back soon. But
Someone said Misaru is like a PR queen.
yeah, Mizaria's like pretty interesting as a character. I think
But
she's
she's
sus.
She's not trustworthy.
She is so sus.
She's
Like
not
she's
trustworthy.
gonna do some booky shit.
But I do think
already
that
know.
comes from her position of, originally she was in the brothel
Mm,
and
yeah,
now
yeah, yeah.
she supposedly has some agency.
Mm.
She's always going to be about herself. Like,
Yeah,
every
100%,
man for herself.
100%,
And,
100%.
that's completely fine. Like,
I
I'm
think-
not going to like it when it happens.
Oh, I love that shit. Like for me, like what
Really?
I loved Game of Thrones for were the villains. Like I love a good villain. I think every show or movie needs a villain you can hate. So
Yeah.
like Cersei was that in Game of
Oh,
Thrones.
she's amazing.
And like so far this season, like Damon, wait, is it Aemond or Damon? Aemon's
Aemond.
the eye patch guy,
Eye patch
right?
dude, yeah.
Aemond, I love him as a character. Like he's so evil and like cunning and like
See, I like Elena. She's a little weird. She's a
oh
little
bless, yeah,
kooky.
no, everyone
She's a
loves
little bit
Elena.
mean.
Yeah,
She's
Helena's
like-
cute. Yeah,
She's like, I don't want any part of this. I just want to
she's
like
play with her little
bugs
birds
cry.
and shit. Yeah, no, I like her. I like her. But Aemond, I love the freaking the creepy guy with like the club foot. What's his name? Freaking the Master of Whispers dude who's like what's his name? The freaking Lara Strong.
Oh, the strong dude. Okay.
Yeah, I love him because like he's creepy. He's in the shadows. Like he's up to something. Like for me, he's like a Varys,
Oh my god,
like a
yeah,
Peter
I
Baelish
remember
kind of
now.
vibe.
Yeah, he's like someone said he's like the gossip girl.
Yeah,
Of,
yeah, he's the gossip girl of
gossip girl of
Hot Tea.
Dragonstone.
Yeah, no, I love him. I love like for me, like yeah, I love a show that has good villains, like the Joker and the Batman. Love that shit. Obviously, I love people to root for. Don't get me wrong. Like I love Rhaenyra, and I really want her to win. Bada bing, bada boom. But every show needs a good like Joffrey. I hate him, but you need a character
You
like
know,
him.
just something crazy. Joffrey was in the most recent Star Wars show, The Acolyte.
Ah, see, that's interesting because I've seen on your stories and stuff that you've been watching The Acolyte.
Yes.
I haven't actually watched The Acolyte.
I think you would need to go into it with an open mind. It's not a very typical Star Wars.
I've heard
but
so
I think-
much.
I think the issue is that it's, Leslie Headland has said this herself. It is a story for the female audience.
Okay.
She says unapologetically,
Okay.
this is a story that is about the story like of a feminine hero, the feminine archetype, and she
Okay.
goes through actually the actual story of the heroine.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also, I just think there's a lot of nuances and empathy there that unfortunately just a lot of men and a certain subsect of the Star Wars fandom will not
I mean, the
get.
Star Wars fandom's fucking
And
nuts.
they will not want to get because they're like, well, if this isn't for me, why should I bother? Is the kind of mentality that they have. And I think it's very difficult for them to kind of grasp the fact that
Interesting.
the majority of this franchise has been aimed towards you. This is one thing that is not. And you need to be okay with that.
That's
and
interesting.
going out of your way to attack, primarily the female fans that have enjoyed this, it's just really weird. Like, it's really weird and gatekeepy. Like, you guys complain
That's fair.
for ages that, like,
That's fair.
women aren't into nerdy things, women don't get it. And the
That's
second
fair.
we get a part of your franchise that is, quite aimed towards us, you're like, no, not like that.
And
And it's like, you only want us to be interested in what you're interested in.
That's interesting. Yeah, because because the thing is, I have heard so much of this hate, and I'm like,
Objectively, the writing could have been a little bit better.
right.
But I think that was actually very much to do with the constraints of the runtime that they had
Okay.
and the fact that they have been limited to an 8-episode season where they're
Right.
not even assured they're going to get a second season.
Right.
So it's very much the
Interesting.
balancing game of how much can we include, how much can we, Easter egg now
Fair.
until we get a second season
Fair.
confirmed. Or, in the event we never do, we need
That's
to make
fair.
a good standalone story.
Yeah. I mean,
But a lot of people have criticized Amandla for their acting, and I
Okay.
think that's completely unjustified.
fair. No, I need to check it out, to be fair, because I have heard such
The lightsaber fights are really good.
okay.
They're really good.
I mean, I know that there's a very sexy Asian man in it. Yes! yes!
is
Freaking
good.
Ida's being like, oh my god, who's the sexy man? I need to watch his show.
Manny Jacinto, light of my life. And
Fuck
I
yeah,
love
no.
The Good Place as well. So seeing him thrive as a leading man is actually very,
Yeah, okay. I
it's
mean,
very oh my god, that's my guy.
I definitely need to check it out, to be fair, because I have heard so much hate, and the thing is, I'm a die-hard Star Wars fan.
Do you like stories that sort of explore morality, I guess.
I love morality.
You will
stories.
enjoy this then.
Okay.
Because not to give too much away, but the Acolyte kind of explores how flawed the Jedi system is.
Okay, that's good.
And how working in absolutes is never going to work.
For sure. I mean, that was like I think that's definitely like one of the biggest nuances of like the prequels and shit, was to show that the Jedi aren't equally as flawed as the Sith. So I have heard a lot of this about like them showing the ineptitude and like the errors of the Jedi's ways, which I'm very interested in for sure.
Lee Jung-jae is amazing in it as well.
Yeah.
He puts on a very good performance.
Didn't he learn English specifically? Like, that's crazy. Like, I'm definitely going to check it out for sure, but there is a part of me that's like skeptical because I have heard so much. Like, I've definitely been influenced by all this like, you know, negative like press around it. So I am trying to enter it with like an open mindset, but like, again, Ida's brother-in-law, he was like a huge naysayer of the show. He was just like, it's fucking shit. It's the worst thing I've ever seen.
Oh my God.
And Jesus.
If you can't hear, she just said
Oh
that
God.
David doesn't have good
Oh
taste.
God. Poor man's being slated. Okay, fair enough. Damn.
David, Ida loves you, but there's some things that you don't
God
know.
damn. Sorry, David. You're being slated to hell right now, brother. Fuck yeah, no. But yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna check it out. It's just like, the thing is, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and for the longest time,
I am a big Star Wars fan.
I feel like so many of the new Star Wars stories have just been like so poorly executed and written.
I know what you mean, yeah. I said this is probably the first sort of series I've actually been interested and invested in.
Okay.
I think since maybe Andor.
Andor was surprisingly good, and I don't understand a lot of the hate around Andor. There's like such a... I feel like it's a very polarizing Star Wars series.
I do understand why. I just do think that there is a certain culture within the Star Wars fandom that is very elitist and gatekeepy.
Oh, for sure. Oh, 100%.
And just doesn't... they're like little kids that don't want to share their toys.
Yeah. They have like a very kind of like... It's almost like the Jedi. They have like a very dogmatic... Oh, well, we're freaking going full circle here, babe. They have like a very dogmatic kind of view of like what is Star Wars, and they don't want to deviate from it.
I think there's a very also... I think, unfortunately, as a product of a lot of the fans being male, there is a sense of, I would honestly just call it male entitlement that they feel to the series.
Fair.
That I just like... I think, for example, like I have watched so many shows because like my boyfriend wanted to, but I honestly can't name a lot that we've watched because like I wanted to.
Okay, fair.
And it's that kind of dynamic of like
fair. Wait, why are you making that face? Yeah, I fully watch all your shit. You're freaking poo. I never get to watch anything. I never get to watch anything.
It's just, you know what I mean? And
but that's fair,
I feel like, you know, women have enjoyed Star Wars despite the fact that they know that this isn't a story aimed towards them.
That's fair.
And I think men should learn to enjoy women's stories.
That's fair. Yeah, I think that's very fair. It's just like, I think for me at least, like the biggest disappointment that I felt in the Star Wars kind of universe was surprisingly not the return of... Wait, what was it called? The Return of Sky... No.
The Force Awakens?
No, what's the third one?
The Last Jedi.
No, it was the...
The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah. Surprisingly, I didn't mind that film as much as The Last Jedi. The Last Jedi for me was so bad. And it's not because of Rey. It's not because of any of that. Because... Funny story, when I first watched Force Awakens, I loved Rey so much that I wanted to get a tattoo of her. I'm not even, this is before we met. But my friend Marcus, if you're watching this, you'll know, when we left the cinema, I was like, I'm in love with Rey, man. I'm going to get her face tattooed on me. I love her. She's the best Jedi ever, man. And then The Last Jedi came out, and it wasn't anything to do with her. It was mainly the disservice they did to Luke and like some of the legacy characters that I had an issue with.
Yeah, I think that is a big thing of bringing legacy characters to reboots. You've got to do it right.
Exactly.
And if you don't do it right, it really just goes
100%. Because I never had any issue with Ray or any of
Yeah.
those characters. It was mainly just how, like, I am all for ushering in a new chapter
Oh,
of
yeah,
stories
definitely.
and introducing new people, a new female audience, a new generation of audiences, younger audiences to the Star Wars universe. Because I'm all for that. But it's just like, you don't have to shit on, Luke and shit to make
Yeah.
it work. And that's why I didn't like The Last Jedi, was they
Mhm.
made Luke into a bit of a joke. So that was my issue. And ever since The Last Jedi, I've always kind of been like very iffy on the new Star
Yeah.
Wars stories. That said, Rogue One, loved.
Oh,
One
that
of
was brilliant.
that genuinely might be
I
like
think
one
that's
of the
why I
best.
watched Andor though.
Yeah, exactly. Andor, Rogue One, The Mandalorian season 1 and 2, amazing. Then season 3 was kind of poo. Boba Fett, ass.
I think I dropped that. That was
Boba Fett
that was
was
a DNF.
ass.
So sorry guys, that was a DNF.
Yeah, that was terrible.
I think me and Aaron got halfway through and we're just like we can't.
It was
we
so
can't do
bad.
this.
It was so
It's just
bad.
dragging so much. We were like, this feels like a very long journey with no end.
Yeah, facts. And I don't know what other new ones there have been, but yeah, I don't know. I've just been very scared. Oh wait, no, there was another one.
There was
Obi. Oh my god, Kenobi was fucking ass. Did you watch Kenobi? Did you like Kenobi?
Not really.
Yeah, it was just ass. Like again, it's whenever they do the legacy characters.
I got it, but I was just a bit like, I feel like I haven't really learned anything new about these guys.
The
Like,
the
I feel like
Kenobi
I just
show.
watched like a slice of life, and that'd be fine if it was like marketed as that. But there's not really much intrigue or plot driving
Facts.
this.
The thing is, Kenobi ends where Kenobi's story ends in Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah,
Like
there's been
no progression at all. It ends with him talking to Qui-Gon in like the afterlife, and it's like, why have we
I feel
ended
like
where
it
we
was
started?
just- how many episodes were there of it?
Like
Like 6?
something like that.
Like
Yeah.
it's like 6 to 8 episodes of him being like, boo-hoo, I failed as a Jedi
And
Master.
I-
And that's, fine. It's not a story about him
Mm.
getting through the grief.
Mm.
But I don't know. It just...
Like I love Ronin stories, don't get me wrong. Like I love me a good like I've lost purpose, like Logan, like freaking the first John Wick. Like I love me a story with like a samurai that has
Yeah.
lost his purpose, right? And Kenobi was meant to be that, but it just ended up being freaking him chasing
I
around
think
kids and shit.
unfortunately because he was such a beloved legacy character, they were too scared to do anything with him.
Exactly, and that's what I mean by like there's a difference between like having the balls and the just like taking risks and like having the courage to tell a new story. Like either go for it or just don't touch it at all,
Yeah.
Like again, this goes back to the whole like taking risks and having that shock factor for the sake of shock. Like there's like, two sides.
Either that or they just really lean into like cameo fan service.
Like Marvel. Have you seen the new Deadpool Wolverine movie?
I have. Wait, I'm going to go pee and I'm talking.
Yeah, do your thing.
Yeah, I saw Deadpool and Wolverine, and honestly, I enjoyed it because it felt like a breath of fresh air.
Okay.
But I wonder if that's only purely because the formula of Deadpool itself lends to being gratuitous and like meta and self-referential, so therefore it's funny
Yeah.
and it's not as grating as some of the other cameos have felt.
Yeah. I think like Deadpool is probably the only one that would make sense
Yeah.
in terms of cameos and stuff, and like they were poking fun at it, and like you said, it's like meta, so it's okay. It's more forgiving.
It's
at
less
least.
grating.
Yeah, but it really is gotten to that point where all these new Marvel movies are legit just like,
How do you feel about
oh god,
the
Robert
idea-
Downey Jr.
Yeah, how do you feel about the casting?
Nah, I just think it's such a wasted opportunity to cast a new guy. Like,
I think the issue I have with it as well, like you said, it's a waste, but also Marvel itself didn't start as this huge conglomerate entity that, like owned cinema, like who was it? Chris Hemsworth was not a big name before he became
true,
Thor. People thought that like it was a joke. People didn't like the casting. People didn't like it when Mark Ruffalo was cast.
Very true.
A lot of these actors were not these huge A-list names that they are today before Marvel.
Mm.
Marvel like was able to bring them up, and
No,
I think
100%.
Marvel
I mean, even
ha-
Robert Downey Jr. was
Yeah.
like at his lowest. Almost.
yeah, he was recovering.
Yeah,
from
recovering.
A lot of things.
Yeah, legit. No, I feel you. I feel you.
I think before that, Scarlett Johansson had only done. She'd done some good films, but
Yeah,
she'd done
for sure.
very indie actually films. She'd done
Mm.
was it who
Lost
she
in
did?
Translation.
Yeah, she'd done Lost in
Love that film.
Translation. She'd done. Was it her?
I think that was after. I think that was 2013.
Was it after?
Yeah, her
But,
was 2013.
They hadn't built their names yet, and I
Yeah.
think it's a waste, like you said,
Yeah.
when Marvel could be bringing completely unknown
Yeah,
talent.
they're same.
to
I
the
agree.
fore,
I
But they're
agree.
choosing not to
Mm.
out of fan service.
Like,
Also, it must be draining their budget. Like, I'm sorry, I heard a rumor that he's being paid like
so true.
80 million
Oh.
purely to even be in it, on top of the fact that they're literally giving him like an on-site like complex for
Like-
him and his entourage to
hell.
like live in.
Isn't he the most? Oh, actually, no. I'm pretty sure The Rock is right. The most paid actor in Hollywood. I think.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty. If I'm not mistaken, The
No
Rock
offense
is.
to The Rock, but really?
I think he is. Wait, I can fact check this now, but I'm pretty sure The Rock
That is crazy.
is the most expensive, most
Out of,
well
like,
paid.
the wrestlers turned actors that should be paid the most, he is not one of them.
Most well paid actor. Dwayne Johnson. Oh wait, no, hold up. He was in 2020. He was the most
Oh.
well paid. 2023, yeah, you're right, is Adam Sandler.
Yeah, but that's because Adam Sandler makes his own films and
this-
casts himself in the
Oh shit.
in like the starring role.
But this is interesting because right now they're saying that Adam Sandler's earned 97 mil in 2023. 2022 was Tyler Perry at 175 mil.
Who's Tyler Perry?
Yeah, I can't lie. Who the fuck is that? All right, cool. But get this, 2021, The Rock, 270 mil.
For what?
And then the year before, Dwayne Johnson,
did he
The Rock
do?
again, 100. So both of him is like insane. That's crazy.
was that like for Black Adam?
Jumanji. I think now that was when he was like, to be fair, he was casting everything at one point. No, like he was
That's
in
true.
Jumanji, he was in freaking Hercules, he was in freaking I don't know, Moana, he was in Fast and
shit, yeah, that
Furious.
Disney money.
Yeah, he was killing it at one point. Black Adam as well, even though that was shit. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like the whole Robert Downey Jr. thing, like how are they like just not gonna show his face in the movies? Like keep the Doctor Doom mask on forever? Or are they gonna say he's like a variant? Like I don't know. It's just like such a
I think they would have got more value out of it by casting him as a cameo variant than
yeah.
as an actual lead.
Yeah,
to
then
be
the
honest.
actual Doctor Doom.
Because
Like,
they could have got the fan service out of it. They could have had the ha ha he Iron Man gone bad moment, and it would have been great. It would have like
Yeah.
gone super viral. Would
Yeah.
have got them the marketing the moment that they wanted.
I think it just goes to show that like Marvel right now are grasping at every straw they
Yeah.
have to like really try and get people to go back to the cinemas and watch their movies
I
and
for one
stuff.
am looking forward to seeing how the boys will parody this.
Here's another thing. I never actually properly got into The Boys. I watched like the first couple of
Oh,
episodes.
it's
It was
a lot.
insane for sure, but I don't know. I
I-
never got into it.
I think you'd like it. They've got some really good.
I know,
they've got
all my
some
friends say that
really
I
good
would, yeah.
villains.
Yeah, for sure.
Me and my boyfriend watched it on a whim once.
Okay.
Because I had Amazon Prime and we were
Yeah,
like, oh, what's on Prime
fair.
Video?
Fair.
And he was like, oh, let's watch this. After the first episode, we were like, what the fuck?
Whoa! Yeah, I remember the first
and then
episode being
obviously we
nuts.
just
Yeah.
kept watching because that morbid curiosity, you just
Fair,
can't help
fair.
it.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, there's so many shows that are out right now that I haven't like properly like that I know I should get into.
Yeah.
Another crazy one is Peaky Blinders. I never got into it.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, and like everyone always says like, yo, you're gonna love the show.
So I can say personally, the reason I've never seen it is
Mm.
because I grew up in Essex.
Okay, fair.
There are a lot of boys there that thought they were
They
like,
were the Peaky
that thought
Blinders.
they were fucking Peaky Blinders. And they were just
Nah.
they were just so annoying.
That's actually
they
it's
were
like
so annoying
cringe.
that like out of spite I've been like I just can't watch the show anymore because
Fair.
it reminds me of all like the annoying boys from my hometown.
Fair. Damn. Yeah, I mean, Peaky Blinders, I just never really had a chance. I mean, I don't know why. I just never watched it. I just didn't watch it.
I think, to be honest, a lot of the television I watched growing up was very much whatever my parents were watching.
Fair. I feel ya. I mean, I feel like my parents.
I had a bit of an eclectic taste by that point. I think.
Yeah, same. Like my parents were into like quite a lot of different genres and shit, but like they also exposed me to like very mature shows very early on.
I think I watched Sleepy Hollow when I was like,
holy
8.
shit, damn. I was watching like Sopranos at like fucking age 10.
I think my brother was like he's like a huge like horror film fan. I think.
Yeah, same.
He's watched a lot of horrors, but I think I was staying over at his, and he made me watch Sleepy Hollow.
Sick.
My parents also loved musicals.
Okay, yeah, same actually.
I know a lot of musicals to an embarrassing extent.
Same. No, I'm a big fan of musicals as well, actually. But all right, what's your like goated musical? What's one musical that you'll always permanently be like, yeah, sick?
Phantom of the Opera.
Yes.
And I also maintain controversial opinion. Sorry, but I would have chosen the Phantom.
Yeah, same. 100%.
Christine, you did. Yeah,
100%. Are you kidding? Ralph is literally nah.
In the might I add, not very good, but sequel. It turns out that they boinked anyway.
Yeah.
And that's his son.
Yeah, and that's his son.
Like, it's completely like removed the importance of her choosing like, the safe, stable life. Because it turns out he was like some gambling playboy anyway.
Didn't like in the sequel, I only like watched it once on YouTube.
The sequel's really not good.
Yeah, it's ass. But didn't she like leave and then go back and boink the Phantom? It was
the night before her wedding.
She went back to the Phantom.
She boinked the Phantom the night before her wedding.
That's crazy.
I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on this. I haven't seen it in a while. But I'm pretty sure it was like the night before her wedding or something, right before she was supposed to marry him. Boinked the Phantom. And then they like went off to wherever they did. And it turns out that Raoul was like a gambling playboy. So she was in a miserable marriage.
Yeah, I remember
that. And then the son that they raised wasn't even his. And it was the Phantom.
Yeah, he was like a musical prodigy and shit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, I haven't seen the sequel in ages.
It's not worth watching.
Yeah, I remember it being poo, but I remember watching it on YouTube because I was like, I wonder what happens in the sequel. And then it being set in America was really weird for me. Like, it was just like, what's going on? Yeah, well, Isaac, yeah.
They also just desecrated a lot of the good
characters. I kind of agree. Like, it's just, again, it's like the whole, like, just leave, like, leave the good stuff alone. Like, we don't.
You've had a good run. Stop it.
Like, for me, Indiana Jones is another like one of these like, why did you reboot it? Why did you have to bring it back just to like Dial of Destiny was ass in my opinion.
I only watched it for Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and even then that was a struggle.
Like, again, she's a great actress, and like there's so many.
She took that Disney check and was like, fine, whatever.
Yes, legit. Like there were so many good actors and so many like Mads Mikkelsen. Love him. I think he might be like one of the best actors out there.
I just find it funny that they always cast him as like a scary Nazi.
Yeah, that's because he's got that aura. He's got that Nazi aura. There's like the other guy that's always a Nazi. I was legit thinking this like not like in real life.
The guy who's Zemo again? From Marvel. That guy.
Yes, he is fully. Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah.
What's his name? Something Buell. Peter Buell, something like that. He fully is always Nazi. But there's another guy in Inglourious Bastards who's always playing a Nazi. And
that must be really tough. They're like, what do you get?
Right? Like you're just typecast as Nazi villain. Great, fantastic.
I don't know what his name is. There is this one British actor. I've watched a lot of like run-of-the-mill like B-list like detective dramas and all of that stuff growing up. Mm-hmm. There's this one dude who was always cast as like
the villain.
Is like a serial killing nonce, and I really can't remember his name. But he's slightly blonde, got glasses, and like quite
poor
big front
man
teeth.
is permanently typecast as a pedophile.
He's a really lovely guy in real life, but he was constantly cast as like a slightly creepy guy that definitely murdered young girls.
To be fair, like what's the actor that played the Riddler in the new Batman film?
Paul Dano.
Yeah. Paul Dano's got a little bit of that when he was like, because he was the.
See, I saw him in Okja though, and ever since Okja, I was like, oh, Paul Dano.
Never seen that.
Okja's really good. It's by Bong Joon-ho.
Oh.
He did Parasite.
Oh, okay.
Okja's actually a very upsetting film.
Okay. Oh, is that okay?
Oh yeah.
J-A? Yeah. I've seen it and I've never clicked on it, but I've seen it.
No, you should definitely watch it. It's very good.
I'll check it out.
We watched it after we watched Parasite because we found out that he directed it. So we were like, okay.
Have you
Steven Yeun is also in it.
I fucking love Steven Yeun.
Yeah, he's an Okja.
Have you seen Memories of a Murder?
Yes.
One of my favorite films of all time.
Really?
Yeah, it's fun.
I'm so sorry. I fell asleep during it.
Oh, No.
To be fair, I don't think I was in the right mindset to watch it. I was very tired. Like when I'm like tired and you put a film on in front
Fair.
of me, like it's game over.
Fair.
Because another controversial thing, I fell asleep during Akira. So like I'm not to be trusted. Like if I'm tired, like I'm just not there.
I mean, fair. Fair.
But I did watch most of Memories of a Murder.
Now, Memories of a Murder, in my opinion, is his best film that I've seen. I need to check out Okja, but yeah, I think like Parasite, amazing film, deserves all its Oscars and shit.
And that was the best experience.
Oh,
ever.
Parasite.
Yeah, I had no idea
sick
what it
film.
was about.
Same,
And
sick
it
film.
was an amazing
Sick
experience
film.
getting to watch it, like blind.
But Memories of a Murder, you should rewatch it if you
What are
get
your
a
top
chance.
4 on Letterboxd?
I don't have Letterboxd. But yeah, I know I'm like a cinephile. I love movies and shit, but I never got Letterboxd.
See, I did it just purely because I actually forget how many films I've watched.
Fair.
So
fair,
I was like, I actually need to keep track.
fair. So what does top 5 on Letterboxd mean? Like your most
So
watched films?
It's
or?
like your pinned films, like your top 4 pinned films. Like,
okay.
it's like
so
in
like
MySpace, like your top 8
right.
films that you pick.
So it's like your
it's
your
4
go-to
films
list.
that you've picked that kind of represent your like taste as well as like a cinephile.
Oh my god, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's a good
So
question.
my top 4 are Everything Everywhere All at Once,
Okay,
The
good
Truman
film.
Show,
Great film.
How to Train Your Dragon.
Great film. Great soundtrack.
I can't remember what the 4th one is now. Actually, I feel like I changed it out recently. Wait, let me go get my phone and check. You should get Letterboxd. It's quite fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why I never got it.
Gone Girl.
Gone Girl. All right, fair. It's a good film. Good film.
Yeah, I watched Dee Dee.
Wait, so
yesterday.
what's Dee Dee?
Dee Dee is a film by Sean Wang. It's a like indie Chinese American film.
Okay.
It's quite good. It
like DEE?
like no, like DIDI.
Oh, DIDI. Okay.
Saw it at Picture House yesterday.
All right.
It was
96% on Rotten
it was
Tomatoes.
poignant,
Crazy.
is what I'll say.
Poignant. Aw.
I think I personally struggle with films that are a little bit like nothing happens because
Fair.
I feel like they emulate real life
Mm.
and real things that I felt way too closely for me to enjoy them.
Okay.
So therefore I
Fair.
end up just kind of detaching a bit
Fair.
and just like watching,
Fair.
if that makes sense.
And Dee Dee's one of those.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm a huge fan of those kind of films actually. Not all
I
the
really
time.
like them, but I think I can't watch them more than once.
That's fair. Nah, yeah, I feel you. I feel that. So these are films that you would say, like, they're not your favorite films. They're just like films that represent you, or are they just your favorite films?
They're just, I feel like for me, my Letterboxd top 4 just kind of show the kind of films that I enjoy.
Okay.
And it just gives like a little insight to what my taste is.
Okay.
So like, for example, Gone Girl, because I love Rosamund Pike and I love
Great
Twist.
actress.
I love
Yeah,
An
fair.
Unreliable Narrator.
Okay.
I think it was
Okay.
a brilliant film.
Brilliant
just the way
film.
that it was
Brilliant film.
directed and
Yeah.
the way it was set up, I
For
thought
sure.
was amazing.
For sure.
How to Train Your Dragon doesn't need an explanation.
Yeah, good fun. Fair.
And I also like including it because I think animation as a form of media and film is like one of the best.
Oh, 100%.
I think it's
100%.
one of the best, and I don't want to discredit it in any way.
I think I already know like 2 of my films.
Yeah.
But you go on.
The Truman Show, just incredible.
Okay. Yeah. 100%.
And then Everything
Great
Everywhere
film.
All at Once just blew out the park for me. But I also watched that one blind as well.
Controversial. I feel like Everything Everywhere All at Once was a perfect film up until I'd say maybe the 3rd act dragged out a bit
Yeah,
too much in my
definitely.
opinion. Like I feel like we knew where the end, like what the ending was going to be like
Yeah,
30 minutes already, like ahead of the end time.
I think it relied a lot on visuals. They wanted to do some like
yeah. I mean, don't
they
get me
wanted
wrong.
some visual catapulting.
Don't get me wrong. Like honestly, beautifully written and like acted and shot and like
Stephanie
all the
Hsu was
effects were
robbed.
insane.
Stephanie should have got the Oscar. Just saying.
Who won?
Jamie Lee Curtis. Hot
For
Dog
what
Fingers.
film?
For her role in that. Jamie Lee Curtis is an incredible actress.
Yeah, I
don't
love
get me
her.
wrong. But she did not deserve the Oscar for that film in particular.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if it's
There
an
are many other
Oscar
films that she could've got it for.
worthy. Freaky Friday. Love that film. One of my favorite films of all time. But okay, fair. Yeah.
I think I like including The Truman Show because there's a lot to be analyzed and said about it.
Oh, 100%. Great film. Great film. Yeah.
You could write essays and essays
100%.
about it, whether like on consumerism, on God, on philosophy and everything. I think that's why it's such an interesting
No,
film.
100%. And it's kind of like
Jim Carrey.
Yeah. Okay. Jim Carrey, legend. It's kind of almost got that like Hunger Games like vibe of like this is definitely a show that we would watch.
I think also it's got beautiful visuals.
Oh, 100%. No, it's a great film.
What do you think your top 4 are going to be?
Well, the minute you mentioned like animated films, I think I already had like 2 Ghibli films kind of like cemented in the top 4.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think like if 2 slots is too many. But as of right now, at least, Whisper of the Heart from Studio Ghibli, one of my favorite films of all time. I think it's one of the most underrated Ghibli films.
It's definitely very underrated.
It's just like a perfect film in my opinion.
I actually found Spirited Away a bit boring.
I kind of see what you mean. Have you seen the stage play?
No. So funnily enough, my boyfriend was going to try and get me tickets for that. Then we saw how expensive they were and we were like, maybe another day. Maybe we'll wait.
Fair. Ida got me that for my birthday. It was fucking lit. But yeah, so I would say Whisper of the Heart, and the other Ghibli film that I would put in there is another less talked about one, Only Yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
So both of them are like the real.
Yeah, Only Yesterday is very much another film where nothing happens. But
Yeah,
it's very poignant.
I love those
I
kind of
remember
films.
watching Only Yesterday.
And it's just like, it's one of those films where as a kid, I hated it because I was like, I don't get this.
Yeah,
This
like,
is
this is
so
so boring.
boring.
What is
Nothing
this?
happens. But then as I grow older, the whole aspect of nostalgia and like, you know, remembering your childhood is like more and more poignant.
I think Lady Bird did a good job at doing that.
Lady Bird is great. Yeah. But yeah, okay. So those 2, but because it's a top 4, I'm not sure if 2 slots is too many for those.
Yeah.
But maybe I would say Godfather 1 is one of my favorite films of all time. I love Godfather. Why did you make that face? It's a great film.
She's like, it's a
It's a sick film.
It's appropriating Italian culture. How dare they?
I genuinely think that might be like a perfect film in my opinion. I am biased because I watched it like 2 weeks ago. I mean, a week ago, so it's very fresh in my mind. But Saving Private Ryan might be up there as well. I love a war film. Like I'm a huge war movie.
See. A little small fact about me is I actually love apocalypse films.
Okay. Like what? Day After Tomorrow, 2012 kind of vibe. Okay,
I've watched
fair,
all of
fair.
them, and
Fair.
also like
Twisters.
yes, and also like natural
Sharknado.
disaster films. I'm a huge
Fair,
fan
fair,
of.
fair. I like them.
I don't know why. I think it's because they all have the exact same formula, so it's very comforting.
It is very
knowing
like
how they're gonna
formulaic,
end.
but it works. I feel
one of
that.
my actually not guilty pleasure because I don't feel guilty about it, but is Air Force One with Harrison.
Harrison fucking Ford as the president
and
killing
Gary Oldman?
terrorists.
Gary
Sick film.
Oldman
Fuck yeah.
is like amazing
Sick
in it.
film. Oh no way! I fucking love that film.
And Die Hard.
It's the wow. You okay? Yeah, fair.
I like it's like
the classic
my guilty
action
pleasures
film.
are, like,
yeah,
those
yeah.
kind
I
of,
feel you.
like,
I feel you.
apocalypse,
feel
natural
you.
disaster, like emergency films because I just think they're so fun.
I feel like they don't really make movies like that anymore. Of like the.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, but also not to that level, I think.
Exactly.
You
I
know?
hadn't actually ever watched Die Hard until recently, so I didn't get
Great
the
film.
whole meme of like, oh, Die Hard, but on a plane. And then I watched Die Hard and was like, oh my god, yeah, Air Force One
It
is
is
just Die
pretty
Hard
much
on a
Die Hard
plane.
on a plane. Yeah, for sure.
But
for
in the best
sure.
way possible.
Yeah, 100%.
Have you seen Airplane?
Yes, one of my favorite films of all time. And don't call me Shirley. Yeah, I love that film. Airplane was sick. There was also a part of me that might consider like putting a horror film in there because I love horror films.
Ooh, yeah.
Like,
Have you seen Long Legs?
no, I haven't yet.
It's really good.
I've heard good things. I have heard good
It's
things.
really good, but it's not a very typical horror film.
Okay.
It builds.
Is it more like a thriller with
I-
horror elements, or is
yeah,
it like
I would call it like a gothic thriller.
Okay, I feel you.
I think it leans very into like aesthetics of like Midwestern gothic.
Okay.
If you get what I
Okay.
mean. There is a particular if you watch it, there is a frame that you will recognize, in my opinion, and it resembles the painting, the American Gothic painting.
Okay.
It's literally like an old house, and it has like the
Okay.
arched windows and everything. And I
Okay.
like as soon as I saw it, I was like, I can imagine the weirdos with the pitchfork out front right now.
Yeah. All right. I'll check it out.
It there's a little bit of jump scare elements, but I mean, it's a
Okay.
horror film, of course.
Yeah,
there
of
will
course,
be,
of course.
But I think it was really good. I think it got
Okay.
a lot of flack actually
Interesting.
because it got hyped so much, and people were like, came out and were like, oh, I wasn't even that scared, bit, and I was like, I don't think you. This isn't the type of film where you needed to be scared. You just needed to feel something, and I was so anxious the entire time watching it.
Okay. All right, fair.
You know, like the ominous feeling
Yeah,
of
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, something's gonna happen.
So like Seven, or like, you know, those like old school like thrillers, old school. Silence of the Lambs.
yeah, and kind of like the implication of
I
something
feel
more
that.
than the actual
I feel
something.
That. I feel that.
Not quite as abstract as Skinamarink though. That was
Okay.
really boring.
All right. Okay, I'll check it out. I'm tempted to add like Alien to
Ooh,
my
are you gonna
top
watch
4.
the new Alien when it comes out?
No, looks like ass. I can't lie. I feel like
See, I just love Kaylee Spaney though, so that's probably why I'd go see
like
it.
again for me it's another one of those like
Oh,
just
the
leave
legacy,
just leave them alone. Like I actually really enjoy
That
like
is how I felt about Ghostbusters, but then Ghostbusters is so camp I couldn't help but enjoy it.
touche. Fair enough. Like yeah, I haven't seen the new Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. I haven't seen it yet, but
I saw it.
I
It's pretty
didn't
good.
mind the last one, TBH. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like we just need to leave these like old, like, you know, perfect stories.
People are
alone.
too scared to make new stories.
Legit, just give us new stories. I think that's the main thing. It's just like I don't really need them.
I do
No.
no, but I'm planning to. Lucky meta, guys.
All right, okay. I mean, to be fair, there are like there has been a new like. I think more and more people are
Yeah.
appreciating like these
I
new
do
indie films.
wonder
And
if it's maybe part of the fact that a lot of the new stories that are coming out are coming from voices that haven't really been heard before. And I think that's probably why we're getting such an influx then of
That's-
legacy
yeah,
films
yeah,
that
yeah.
are kind of trying to not necessarily combat that, but the audiences that are being drawn to films like Everything Everywhere All at Once, Ladybird, Little Women, well, that's not like a new story, but like a new director,
Yeah.
aren't, you know, very mainstream in the way that they operate or who they market themselves to or who would be interested in them. I think Parasite was a phenomenon in the sense that you wouldn't expect it to have achieved such mainstream success.
Fair. Yeah.
But,
yeah.
you know, I think maybe that's why some people are so scared of writing new stories, because they've got such new talent to compete with now that hasn't, you know, been heard before, that they're like, maybe I'll just stick to Ghostbusters.
No, that's fair, I guess. By the way, this Yappers isn't meant to be a movie podcast, by the way. I think we just so happened to talk about movies and TV shows this
A lot to say
episode.
about films.
I mean, but you know, we are trying to make this into like I don't know, like we just want to talk
Maybe
about
we'll do a
anything and
therapy session
everything.
next week.
Oh God, okay, yeah, I guess. But
Did
hope
you feel loved as a child?
I'm severely depressed. But we'll save that for another episode because, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Yappers. I've been Seb.
Yap, Mia.
Yap. Bye.